Hi and welcome everybody. Last time I did a chart review of Bitcoin was this video. It's been fairly popular. So thank you guys for watching and upvoting this video. That really means a lot to me. A friend of mine has asked me to look at a short-term view of Monero, Dash, Bitcoin, and maybe also Ethereum. So I'm going to do a very quick review of these from a short-term perspective. And from the perspective of I may want to buy some of these coins right now. Personally, I don't buy at this point in time because I don't have cash. My cash is already invested. So I'm going to try to look at this from the perspective of somebody that might have some cash to invest right now. Please keep in mind that this is not investment advice. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't do this professionally. I'm not licensed or in any sort of way qualified to give you investment advice. So this is not investment advice. These are just my thoughts and ramblings. And please consider this as comedic entertainment. Last time we looked at this, we were at a point where Bitcoin was kind of actually within a downward trend. And I actually thought that Bitcoin would go down a bit before it would break through this very short-term downtrend. Let's look at what actually happened. And so here we see Bitcoin, and we can clearly see that yes, we broke down a little bit, but then very quickly Bitcoin recovered and exploded through this short-term downtrend all the way through the last all-time highs. And we are now in this very short-term, very vertical uptrend that goes along this moving average of 12 days. So right here, this pink line is the moving average of 12 days. And we kind of have a uptrend that goes along that line. So this right now, we're in this uptrend. This may go on, but eventually this uptrend will not hold, or it will go even steeper if we're really in this crazy bubble that I think we might be in right now. So that's very interesting. I think when this uptrend does not hold, the next point will be here, the former all-time highs around this 1150, around 1200. So look for a Bitcoin to kind of hold above this line here. That would be great. Then we really have these other uptrends that will be coming up here, the next uptrend, and then this uptrend here around 900, around 1000. And so it then depends on how positive are you regarding Bitcoin and how long-term you are looking for this, whether you want to sell or whether you want to hold your Bitcoins. If we go below this kind of 800 line here, I think that would be trouble. And then once we go below here, the 400 line, I think that would be a sign that Bitcoin might already be dead or might be in serious trouble. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Again, I think it's not a good time to buy. It's not a horrible time to buy, because if we think of it long term, we just broke through this, so now we have room to explode into the heavens and going through the moon. But if you're kind of the short-term trader, then I would have wanted to get into Bitcoin maybe here at around 1150 or something like that. Okay, so let's look at Dash. Dash is very interesting. It was here around this $15 mark, or below this $15 mark, broke through this and completely has exploded. So I think a lot of what happened in Dash was a technical thing combined with also fundamental reasons. Dash has come out with a new version. The new version is awesome. It makes Dash better. Dash already has very good consensus mechanism, which is the most important thing about a blockchain. Dash is private, allows these instant sends, so it has a lot of good currency features. So the combination with making the tech better and also this technical reaction created this explosion all the way up to 60. Right now, I think we're in a downtrend. We might be in this uptrend here, very steep uptrend, or we might be in this uptrend here. So I think there are target areas around here, the 40 area. So one could either wait for kind of this downtrend to be broken through and then buy here somewhere, or here somewhere, or one could basically say, well, I think it's gonna bounce against this uptrend and then go up, and then we could basically put in a limit order here around 39 or something like that. Or if we think it's gonna go down even further, around 33. So I think this is something that I might do if I wanted to invest in Dash. Put in a limit order here around 33, hope that it crashes down to this area and then goes up. Something that's technically a bit more safe is to wait for these downtrends to be broken through and then buy here or buy here, but then you have to watch the price a bit more closer. And I know my friend and we don't have the time to look at prices every day. So we look at prices maybe, once a day or twice a day, but we have jobs, we have shit to do. We don't have time to actually see when the breakthrough happens and then pull the trigger. So yeah, but that's, to me, these are kind of the 4 spots where one could enter into Dash. Now, Monero to me is a whole different animal. Monero has been below kind of the $15 range, or below the kind of $14, $15 range for over a year now. We exploded into this range and then have been consolidating below this range, but in a very clear uptrend. So this looks very, very great, and we've just broken through that triangle just now. So because of that, I think Monero is actually a good buy at this point in time. So ideally we catch Monero here and then make it, watch it as it goes towards the $18. It will be important that this uptrend will hold. So if we fall through this uptrend, then we should kind of sell it, or we should put a stop loss accordingly below this uptrend. But Dash, I think, is a good opportunity to go in with a target around the $18 here. To me, this looks kind of like a good buy. Ethereum is also very interesting. So Ethereum, we saw similar to Monero, having exploded into this $15 range, actually even the same amount of this dollar range. So the chart looks very similar, had this mini outbreak here with the Dow, and now has broken through this triangle of the very long-term uptrend that was formed earlier this year actually, and has broken through this triangle here and has broken through the $15. So I think right now we are at the all-time high, and we're fighting with the all-time high here at 20. That is certainly, I think, a resistance. So at this point, I think Ethereum is not a good place to enter, because the $20 is just very risky. It's either gonna kind of bounce down or break through. So I think it's better to either wait until we get a cheaper price, or then as soon as we're above this 2021 range, then enter right here. Again, hoping that Ethereum is gonna kick some ass. I think Ethereum has very, very great long-term potential. Microsoft just invested in it, so I think that was also helpful in making Ethereum explode. So long-term, I'm completely holding. I'm not even thinking about selling. But in the short term, I think this spot here is very risky. Ethereum is very expensive right now. So maybe we're lucky, and as a buyer, and the price will bounce down. Then I think at the $16 range or just above the $15 range is when I would want to enter again, and then hoping that on the next run, or maybe 1 or 2 runs after, it would break through the $15 mark. Yeah, so this is my very short-term chart analysis of these 3 currencies. If I had to make a decision to buy, I would probably go into Monero. That just kind of seems the best from like a chart perspective. Now, I also really like Dash. From a fundamental perspective, long-term perspective, I really like Dash in terms of they have this wonderful consensus mechanism. So that might also be a good time to buy in here around the $30 mark. We're not going to get it at $15 anymore. Unless this was really just a hype and we will crash down here. But the long-term chart of Dash also just looks very strong. So I do not believe that we will see the $16 or $15 range anymore. I don't think so. So, but who knows? Nobody ever knows these things. I hope I was just helpful with this tiny little analysis. And please keep in mind, this is not investment advice. These are just my thoughts about these charts.